are here. Welcome,
Yay!
everybody. So glad to see you all. So great. And it's March 4th, 2021. And you'll see why that day's significant coming up. Yeah, this is great. And in case we haven't met, I just want to introduce myself very quickly. I'm Noreen Savage. And you may ask yourself, or I've been asked, why am I doing this? And I'll just tell you very quickly that in May of 2019, my friend Lori posted on Facebook, and she had celebrated 1 year of doing Bright Line Eating. And she said if anybody was interested to just text her or message her, and she would give you the information. And my fingers went as fast as I could to Messenger, and I found out there were 4 bright lines. So if anybody's new, the 4 bright lines are no sugar, no flour, 3 meals a day, and weighed and measured portions. And to all of that, I thought, absolutely no way. There was no way I could do that. But I met up with Lori, we talked again, and in a couple months, the pain in my knees, my feet, my back, that's what was speaking to me, louder than any words could say. And so I gave it a try. I made myself a promise that if I lasted 1 year, I would do the same thing as Lori. I would post on Facebook and I would help anybody I could. And just before that year was up, I had a feeling in my spirit that I could do more than that. And it was, let's connect. It's a time of Zooms. And I thought, if I could just connect these people who inspired me so much with someone who is just starting out, that would be awesome. And here we are. This is week 31. So I just thank you all for being here. And I know that Theresa's story tonight is going to really hit somebody right where they need to hear it. So without any further waiting, help me welcome Theresa, also known as Portu Gal. Is it Portu Gal?
Portu Gal.
And we'll find out about that too. But I want to say March 4th is such an important day. Theresa reached out to me, but she didn't realize that I had been Facebook creeping on her and came across her date, March 4th, 2 years ago today, that she started the 14-day challenge. But I'm going to let you tell the story, Theresa, of where you were before March 4th, however you want to start that out.
Thank you. Noreen, you are so fabulous. I just want to thank you for all that you do, and you're awesome.
Don't make me cry.
And I want to thank everybody who's here. It's so awesome to see all my friends that are from, I haven't even met you face to face, but I feel like we are family and close friends. And I am so grateful for your support and that you showed up today. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Theresa, I want to say, people ask me, how do we meet? And I want to say, you come across with vitality in the groups. That was one thing my friend Lori told me, is get in the groups. And it has been so amazing. And as you're saying that here are all these people you might have not met face to face, but you know them. And it's so awesome.
Yeah. So awesome. So cheers to 2 years of BLE. It's changed my life forever. Cheers. And I want to talk about how it's changed my life forever and who had made that possible too. My friend Charlie O'Neill, who is here. Can you wave, Charlie? Yay! So Charlie has a special place in my heart, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know Bright Line Eating. And so I'm so grateful for him. And so how I came upon Bright Line Eating was, of course, I was at my lowest, because I don't do anything when I'm feeling good to make changes to my life. It's when I'm down deep in the mud to try to, find myself and do something better. Well, I was having one of those moments, and I stopped by Charlie's house to see how he was doing. And I walk in and I was floored. I was like, what the heck? what are you doing? He looked fabulous. So he proceeded to tell me about this program called Bright Line Eating. And something he said that was a little bit concerning is he said, no sugar and no flour. I wasn't too worried about the flour, but when he said no sugar, like zero sugar, I was like, yeah, that's nice. You keep doing that. But um, the more I talked to him, the more he reassured me that I could do it. He was very kind. He was very loving. He printed out some flyers, some paperwork for me. And so off I went with all that information. And so I read all that information during the week. I got the book on audio. And then I thought to myself, I want my husband to make sure that he's on board and he's supporting me. So what I did is I scheduled a road trip. So my husband and I went on a road trip and listened to Bright Line Eating on the way there and on the way home. And when I was listening to her, I thought, oh my God, this woman is writing a book about me. I'm an addict. I'm a food addict. I eat when I'm emotionally unstable or sad or whatever. That's my go-to. I used to use food as my comfort. And I needed to find a way out of that. I was just addicted to sugar, overeating, and it was just terrible.
And at
It's
that point,
terrible.
Teresa, and we talked the other day, and you had tried other things before
I
that.
tried so many other diets, so many, at least more than a dozen, and nothing ever worked. It worked for maybe a couple months or even a month, or always it was like um, exercising like crazy.
Mhm.
So when he said no exercise, I was ecstatic. I'm like, how is that going to be possible that you can go on a diet and you don't have to exercise? So for that whole entire year almost until I reached maintenance, I did zero exercise except just continue to walk. I walked about 3 to 4 times a week.
And
And
was
it
that
was just a
something, I'm sorry, was that something that you had done before the walking? Or was it something you incorporated right from the get-go?
I was already walking, so I just continued to walk, but I didn't
Okay.
do anything like go to the gym. I didn't lift weights. I wasn't doing any heavy cardio, nothing like that. So I was really happy about that because I started in March of 2019, and in September I had shoulder surgery. So in September I couldn't even do anything for 4 months. So had I been doing something that required exercise and a diet, I would have gained all my weight, but I did not. I never gained my weight. I didn't gain my weight through COVID. I didn't gain my weight through my shoulder surgery. And it was because of the plan. Three meals a day, no sugar, no flour. Everything is weighed and measured.
And
It
at
really
what
has
point
brought
would
me
you
such
say,
peace,
I'm
such
sorry, at
peace.
what point, I know that you started the 14-day challenge.
I
Uh,
started the 14-day challenge on, so after I listened to the book, my Charlie suggested that I at least start with the 14-day challenge. So I did that, and then I saw somebody post on Facebook. Um, Her name is Cindy. You interviewed her a while back,
Oh, yeah.
and she posted her phone number on Facebook. I was thinking, what the heck, is she crazy putting her cell phone number on Facebook? So I called her, and she was such a sweet lady, gave me so much information and said if I had any more questions to call her and everything. And so she told me about boot camp. So I started boot camp, and then I felt obligated to do a good job because this stranger reached out to me to tell me about this and acted like she cared, but she didn't. It wasn't an act. She really does care.
Hmm.
And I really felt that I could do it after speaking to her and her encouragement. I knew I could do it. And then I started the boot camp. And when I started boot camp, get this, I was going on vacation to Cabo Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And so I told Cindy, should I wait until I come back from Mexico to start? And she goes, oh no, just get started. And I'm like, okay. I went to a resort, okay? We stopped at Walmart before we headed back before we headed to our resort, picked up meals, picked up food. I lost 2 pounds on that vacation.
Wow.
I can't believe it. I mean, there you
So
go.
you totally stayed bright. I mean,
Okay, I wasn't 100% bright.
but you were
Okay, I'm gonna be
unstoppable.
honest. And I want to be honest from the get-go is that I'm not a crystal vaser. And then sometimes I do fall, but I get right back up. I
Well,
do the next right thing. Like if I messed up at night, that morning, I'm back on track. I'm grateful that I don't break lines for like a day, 2 days, 3 days. I try to use my tools. I'll reach out to wonderful people like you. I connect to my Zoom meeting that I connect with every Wednesday morning. They are so helpful. And I have my buddy Charlie, who I commit my food to every night.
wow.
And trust me, I mean, I
That's
used to
great.
cry to him. I feel sorry for the poor guy. Charlie, God bless you. I would be crying all the time. Oh, I gained weight, or this happened, or blah, 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 blah. And he would basically get me off the cliff because I was ready to jump over. But I didn't gain that weight overnight.
Right.
And it wasn't going to come off overnight. So I needed to be patient with myself and loving. And this program has taught me so, so, so much about loving yourself, self-care, taking care of being gentle when you have messed up.
And you know
Because
what,
I don't see
Theresa?
that.
I'm going to
Go ahead.
ask you something about that a little bit because for me, I don't think that the program itself fixes any emotional, problems or whatever, unless you use some kind of tools. And what did you use? Because it is definitely, I mean, I'm dealing with something right now. I've talked about in the last few weeks that I'm like hitting that wall to get into Wonderland. And I have to just push through. I'm doing like Barb Gray says, I am determined. And I'm using that mantra every single day. I am determined. And through that, I am being 100% bright right now. So what tools have you used to get through the emotional part? Not just the food, I don't think. Or did you
Well,
just feel more confident as you were losing the weight?
you definitely feel more confident when you lose the weight. You become like this whole different person. Um, and the emotional part, you still kind of have to deal with that. But the tools that I use was I journal every day. I do my 5-year journal. I do a gratitude journal, and I do my food journal. So those 3 things I do every day. And I feel like writing helps me with my emotional part of it too. But I
Mhm.
also have, like I said, a group of people. You have a phone list. I have people that I can call at any time if I have a problem. I have a mastermind group that we meet every single week and talk. And I know that I can call anybody on that mastermind group anytime and that they will pick up and help. And they have. And they've even called me when I didn't want anybody to call. And I'm forever grateful about that because I never, in the past, people would say, if whatever you need, just let me know. But when you actually are having a bad day and somebody kind of knows that you're having a bad day, but you don't reach out to them and they reach out to you, it's like, wow, this is
Yeah.
exactly where I need to be. This is where I want to be. People that care about me, people that want to see me successful. And I, in turn, want to do the same thing for somebody else in service. I sponsor people. I have somebody that calls me every single day. In doing that, it helps me to practice to have compassion, empathy. And I'm grateful for that. And so between so many tools like the journaling, calling people on the phone, not isolating. Isolating makes it worse. Uh, and connecting with my sponsees. And I also am like a paid cheerleader for people too. Like I will be your personal cheerleader if you're struggling with bright line eating, or if you're struggling with your journey. I would be somebody that would help you along on a
You
daily
mean
basis, on a one-on-one
like we could hire you
connection.
when you say paid cheerleader? So somebody could get a hold of you? Like, I mean, I'm legit,
They
like,
could,
so if
yeah, they
somebody
could get a
wanted to
hold of
get
me,
a
yeah.
hold of you, they can just message you and,
Yeah, they can just send me a
okay,
message.
all
Yeah,
right.
via messenger. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm wondering too, when you're talking about going through this journey, um, you're talking about those tools. How do you handle your food? I mean, you're doing the food commitment. Is your husband on board? You said that you listened to the book together, but how do you plan your days when you're saying, like, I do my breakfast and lunch that I know, but my husband's the cook. So I basically do like leftovers, but he'll make dinner. So what do you do? I know that you shared a picture of your soup mix.
Yeah. So let's talk about my food. So, number one, that is priority for me. Like everything else, and my husband knows, I need to make sure that my food is priority. Like I make sure that my food prep is done every single week. I don't go with days of not having things ready because I will fail. I need to have food that is prepared and ready to go. And I cook very simply. Basically, all I do is I roast enough vegetables for probably 4 to 5 days. And that's enough vegetables for my husband and I, because now he does bright line eating also. Maybe not 100%, but I pack his lunch. He's a nurse. He works 12 hours. So I pack all his meals for work. I make his breakfast, and the game changer for me is the soup that Noreen mentioned. And I have that soup, the directions step by step on my Facebook page. So if you go to my Facebook page, that is listed on there. And the reason I say it's a game changer is because you spend so much time prepping vegetables that you roast, cook vegetables, because not that I'm hoity-toity or better than whatever. I don't eat frozen. I don't eat anything frozen. I eat fresh vegetables and they're roasted. And so when you spend so much time prepping those, if that's all you're eating, it goes very quickly. But what I do is I make this soup base. And so 5 ounces of that soup base goes towards my vegetable serving. So then I only have to come up with five other ounces of roasted vegetables. And that's why I say that it's a game changer, because it saves a lot of time on my food prep, on my vegetable prep. And for my protein, I always do things like a roast. I'll do a roast in the crock pot, which is easy, will last me several days. My husband will grill 3 to 4 chicken breasts, and so he'll have that for lunch with the salad. Um, what's the and that's about it. And then I also do a ground beef so that I could do a marinara sauce with the butternut squash or spaghetti squash. um, I think that's it.
That's fantastic. And I love that because we just had soup the last 2 nights and we just had vegetable soup, but if it would have been added with vegetables, that would, last a lot longer. So I see what you're saying. And somebody just asked where your Facebook page is, and it's Portu Gal.
Yes,
How did
yes.
you have Portu Gal?
My friend Charlie. Okay, so let me tell you the story about the Portu Gal. So when I started, I thought, okay, it's just going to be one more diet for me to fail at. I did not want anybody knowing that I was going to be on another diet. Okay. And when you start boot camp, I believe it's in boot camp, they want you to set up a Facebook page.
Oh.
Maybe it was 14-day challenge. I can't remember. It's been 2 years.
Hmm.
And so I thought, okay. So I asked Charlie, I said, what am I going to do? I want to set up like a fake page. And so he came up with the name because he knows I love Portugal. He knows I'm Portuguese. So that's how Portugal came about. And so now I can't get rid of it because that's who I am. I'm Portugal.
That's awesome. I love it. That is super. Okay, so we talked a little bit about, the eating, but if anybody saw the slideshow, they see these beautiful presentations of your dishes and everything like that, which is just absolutely beautiful. But the other day when we chatted, Theresa, you were saying that it wasn't all so beautiful before in the old days.
No.
And I'm just wondering, how does it compare now that you have your eating, intact instead of the old way? What is that comparison? Or is there any?
So are you talking about my tablescapes, or are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I'm talking about, like, you are known for these beautiful presentations, and I can picture myself now the way that I am sitting at a table like that, because I hate to say it, but my eating now, I feel worthy that I'm not sneaking. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, now yeah,
it's
I know
just
what
a
you mean.
feeling of I don't know, integrity,
Right.
where
And you feel like that you're worth it, like you're worth the effort to fully engage and be present when you're eating. There's a big difference when I'm sitting at my nicely decorated table, when I'm eating my meal and I'm enjoying my mocktail. Cheers, guys. And versus sitting at the couch watching TV, where you're just stuffing, I'm just stuffing my face with whatever it is. Where if I'm sitting at my fancy table, my food, I might give you the wrong impression or hoity-toity that it looks so fancy and I'm following these fancy recipes. It is not even like that. It looks fancy, but it's very simple. I don't follow recipes. I eat very simply. Like I basically, like I said, crock pot, roasting, uh, my vegetables are basically olive oil and seasoning salt, whatever spices I like, and that's it. But I do like to take the extra time to present my food in a kind and loving way because I'm worth it. You're worth it too. You're worth sitting at a nice table. You're worth uh, just maybe buying one special little placemat where it's just you. My husband is gone 12 hours a day, 13, 14 hours a day, and it's just me. So I still sit here at the head table. I'm at the head table now, and I still sit here because I'm worth it. I don't want to rush through it because I did that in the past, and where did it get me? It got me fat and unhappy. And now I want to change my life going forward. I want to be present. I want to enjoy what I'm eating. And I want to teach others how to do the same thing. And I want to teach others to know their worth and know that they're worth doing that for.
Well, you know what? I think that you're already doing it, and I can't say enough about how your presence in the groups makes a difference. And I believe that for each person. When I got started with Bright Line Eating, and that was one thing, my friend Lori said, get in the groups. I
Yes.
was not journaling at home, but one day I kind of came clean with that. And I said in a group, guys, I just want to tell you, I haven't been doing my gratitude journal. I haven't been doing my nightly journal. And some kind soul said, Noreen, you're on the group page every single day and you are interacting in that way. The 4 bright lines are the 4 bright lines. The tools are the tools. it's just wonderful if you can bring them together. But I can't say enough about those who participate in the groups, because for me, that was a huge amount of support because nobody else around me was doing it. I mean, I had Lori, but I could text her. I did maybe like 3 times that year, but not on a daily basis. So, you know, I just want to put that out there for those who think maybe I'm not doing enough. If you're in the group and you're helping people as they have those bad days, or they have those moments when they're saying, guys, I fell off again. And then you're like, get back up. I mean, it's just so important. I know that you do that, Theresa. And
Well,
you're,
Noreen, can I interrupt just for a minute?
yeah,
People do that for me. Like
yeah,
last week at my morning, I had a major meltdown. Like I was crying, crying, crying because I'm not perfect, but I'm always wanting to be perfect. But you don't have to be perfect to do this program.
no.
You can fail, but you have to ask for help. It's okay. You don't have to white knuckle it. You can, you can stumble.
Well,
And
I think you can also just
we're
reach
here to
out.
pick you up. There's others that are here to pick you up.
I have a
Sometimes
question for
we're not
you.
that strong.
Teresa, when you talk about all these masterminds, and I know Charlie is your friend, but did you find them through groups, or did you find them in the Bright Lifers, or how did you find the people? Did you just put your
I actually found our
word?
mastermind group through you.
Oh,
I think it was like, I'm not sure exactly what presentation it was, but somebody posted in the chat that they wanted to set up a mastermind group, and I already had spoken with her before. And so when she posted that, I was like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me. I want to be on your
wow.
group.
Well, so guys, put your name in the chat if you're looking for a
Yes, if
mastermind
you're looking
group.
for a mastermind group or you're looking for somebody, that's what you do. When you're Zooming, you can just say, hey, I'm looking for, 2 or 3 people. And if you're looking for a certain time zone, then you put that in there too.
Yeah. And
That's how I
also
found
for
mine.
those who are in the Starting Out Bright group, go ahead and put your name, start that discussion. And I think that there will be people who will jump on board that way too. I'm not in a mastermind group, but having a buddy is just so very important.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. From I didn't catch who asked the question, but they asked, did you do parts work? And did that help with your emotional transformation?
I'm so glad you asked that question because this is really going to be TMI, but nobody ever talks about this in Bright Line Eating. At least I haven't heard about it. In 2016, I weighed 212 pounds. I was at my lowest, lowest because my marriage was falling apart. I had left my husband and I decided to go and get some help. I went into a outpatient uh, group therapy, and I always, when I talk about my story, I talk about that part because I feel like that 2 years of doing internal work or parts work is what you call it now, but working on myself, I feel like that part of it helped me with Bright Line today. Like I've reached my my goal. I'm at the weight I want to be. I would like to lose maybe about 5 pounds, but I'm okay with where I am. And I feel like doing that work in 2016 and 17 really prepared me to acknowledge my feelings and my weaknesses. And it's still ongoing. It's still a lot of work. I have to look in the mirror and still do that work. Like I still see a therapist sometimes, and that's okay. It's okay to do that. Um, Sometimes there's stigma of you're crazy or whatever. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, but you know what? I needed the help, and I was willing to do whatever it took. And I'm happy to say that today my marriage looks so much different, and I'm in a more loving and kind relationship because I'm a better person. And that I am so grateful for. I'm grateful that I'm willing to change. I'm willing to look at my own parts. And yeah,
That's
that's my story.
fantastic. And I think, you hit on something in a relationship. I would say that, and I'm married, obviously, I mentioned that, but if my whole day, I can do a lot of things, put my chin up and all that, but if something's not going well with my partner, my life partner, boy, it's not going well at all. And so it's just so important to work on those relationships, but working on yourself too. And I just a thing about getting counseling. There was one time my son was in Iraq and I was at work. I went home for lunch and I just had a total meltdown. And I came back late from lunch, went to my boss and said, I'm sorry. And she said, Noreen, it's fine, but you're going to have to get some counseling. And I'm like, okay, I will make an appointment and do that. All the way driving, this is like the week later or whatever. All the way driving, I'm going to this appointment thinking, this is so silly. I have a blessed life. Other people need this more than me. All the way there. I get in the chair talking with the counselor, therapist. She could not shut me up. It was a blah, blah, blah. And I needed to have somebody who just could even talk my feelings back to me, and validate those feelings. Because when you're in the moment with people, you're not always feeling validated. So I totally support that whatever you call it, parts work, which I know is available through the boot camp, right? I don't know if
Right.
it's a separate program. I haven't gone through that. But to get that outside help, I think is really great. And thank you for sharing that, Theresa, because it's a very important piece of all of this. It's not just about the food. It's
It's not.
about how did you get into the food? A lot of times. I mean, we do have those addictive qualities. If you read the book and you saw the four white piles, and how sugar looks like cocaine, yeah, there is that addictive substance. But why did we use that addictive substance to fill whatever hole there was inside? And because it doesn't happen to everybody, so it happens somehow. And I think that emotional gap just leaves the space there for it to just, fill up. But anyway, yeah, that is the emotional struggle is way more than just about food. But I want to pivot to something else because I know that you said that you started exercising after maintenance, right?
I did.
Okay,
And so
so
I started maintenance this year, January of 2020. Wait, yeah. No, yeah, yeah. January of 2020 is when I started exercising again.
and how did you prepare for that? Because did you hear the vlog with Susan this week about exercising? It's the first time she
I
talked
did.
about it.
I did.
Is
I actually hate exercise, to be honest with you. But COVID hit. I got laid off in April, okay? And then my friend also got laid off too. And so what happened was he started coming over to my house and training myself and another girl, okay? Well, we did that for probably a couple months. And then I thought, and then it kind of fizzled out and I went a different direction. Well, this is why it's so good to be in these groups and be in Zoom and do Gideon games and mastermind, because somebody reached out to me and said, would you like to be part of my Marco Polo exercise group? And so basically what we do is every morning or every day that we exercise, we contact or make a little Marco Polo saying that we did our exercises. Well, like I said, I hate exercise, but it worked for me. It motivated me to get on there and say, hey, I did my part. I did my exercise.
Right.
And so that was a lifesaver. Once again, groups and connecting with other people. And so I have that group that I just every morning when I do my exercise, I follow somebody on YouTube, which is free. It's free. Her name's Sydney Cummings. And every day she posts a brand new workout. And so it's almost like having your own personal trainer in your house. So I don't even have to leave my house.
So this is aerobic or is this strength training?
It's strength training. She does mostly strength training, and she does also have stretching. I've done her stretching a couple times. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's fabulous. It's fantastic.
Okay.
And her weight training is fantastic. I love it so much. Like, it's really transformed my body. Oh, I was going to say, when I started in January, my behind looked like a Shar-Pei. My body looked like a Shar-Pei. I had like loose little skin,
Wow.
And now, because I've been doing it since heavy since since April, my skin is starting to tighten up.
That's a
Because of
really
the
good,
exercise.
hopeful thought.
I'm telling you, I look like a Shar-Pei.
You don't look
Loose
like a
skin.
Shar-Pei to me.
I did. Trust me. If I post a picture, you'd be like, oh my God.
But you know what? The thing is, and again, I'm speaking to those who are new. You may not believe it in the book when she says, really to refrain from exercise, at least to not do anything extra that will tax your willpower.
Right.
Because it is really amazing when you have that burden off your shoulders, because we have, just for decades been told you have to diet and exercise, diet and exercise.
Yeah.
I remember one year I was going to do this thing. I started at 270 pounds, and this was 2015. I was going to do it. I was going to lose half my body weight in 1 year, by golly. And part of that was going to be going to the gym every day. I would get up at 5:45, go to the gym. I had a trainer like 2-3 times a week. It was way more than my financial circumstances that I even wanted to do, but I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I'll never forget, his name was Austin, and he said to me one day, Noreen, you work harder than anybody in this place, but it's never going to work until you get your food right. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. And I wasn't really doing a bad diet, but I wasn't doing a consistent diet. And I really believe that doing it in reverse, getting your diet meaning this is my food life, getting that automatic in your head. And that's what Susan talked about in the vlog, that when can you start exercising? Well, first get automatic with your food. And you might even have to add some food as you're exercising, like an extra protein. I was shocked to hear that. But I mean, it's amazing. So again, the person that you listen to is Sydney Cummings, Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney Cummings.
Okay,
Yes.
but we'll look for that. I know that you're going to make a mocktail for us, and I don't know how much time you have
What
for
time
that.
is it?
It's already like maybe 15 minutes to go, but I want to ask you too some things, like what has been your greatest non-scale victories, like throughout this process?
This sounds so shallow. My size 4 pants,
Oh,
or wearing pants, or wearing shorts, white
oh,
shorts. Never. I've been overweight all my life. I've never been a size 4 in my entire adult life. And I never even liked to wear pants. I used to always just wear a dress because you'd be able to hide your legs. Nobody would be able to see your legs, And I hated the way it looked. And now I love to wear pants.
wow.
So I have to say that. And the other one is my husband saying how proud he is of me.
Mm,
So
that's pretty cool, and it's great that he's on the same page as you now
And
too.
my daughter has said that she's proud of me too.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to me.
So when you look back on that March 4th, 2019, what do you say to Theresa of that day? You had to have been a little bit apprehensive on that day.
I was, but I was and I wasn't. I mean, I was, but my friend Charlie gave me the hope. He was my role model. He'd already done it. He he knew I could do it. He knew I could do it when I didn't know I could do it.
Hmm.
So if you have somebody that knows you can do it when you think you can't, you're gonna make it. You're gonna do
Well,
it. Because I know this plan works for everyone, and I am nobody special. I am just like all of you. And on that day, I was scared, and but I was ready. I was ready to do it because I was at my lowest point.
what do you say to yourself when you're tempted to go the reverse? There must be those days.
Oh yeah, there's those days. I tell myself that I don't want to be that. I remember my size 4 pants.
Mm.
I really do. I remember that that's how I want to look. And now, even when I look at vacation pictures, I'm always teasing with my husband. I say that I want to redo on every single vacation we ever took. Because even when we went to Italy in 2016, I was at my heaviest. I weighed
Mhm.
212 pounds. And
Yeah.
now I look at those pictures. I mean, I had a good time, but I'm just like, boy, what would that vacation look like if I was in my right size body?
But now, don't you think, knowing what you know now, what you had to go through, the ups and downs, even the emotional things with your
Yes.
husband, all of that gives you the empathy to face today? I
Absolutely.
mean, I
You
think
do.
for me
Yes.
personally, it gives me a
Right.
lot of strength knowing
Right.
it can be worse.
Right.
And I too do not want to go back. And I always say that these, these again, kind souls who will go on Facebook and they just like put it out there and say, guys, don't do what I did. This is a cautionary tale. And it scares me enough to think, just do the next right thing. If I slip,
Right.
just do the next right thing. And my friend Lori, two things she also said to me when I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start Bright Line Eating. She says, two things, Noreen. If you should ever slip, don't beat yourself up. And second, don't look back. You're not going that way. And so that's, really important to know. We are not going back. We're not
No.
going that way. We're not going to do that. I mean, the progress I know that I've made, I'm halfway there. It's just fantastic. The better health, the no knee pain, all of
Yes,
that.
that too. We didn't talk about that. I used to have such bad knee pain and back pain.
Yes.
And I hardly ever wake up anymore with back pain or knee pain.
So let's talk about these mocktails because I know you're going to make one. And how did you come about doing this? I'm assuming
Well,
that you used to drink or,
no,
oh no?
I'm not a big drinker,
Okay.
but I do like to socialize. So
Okay.
what do you do when you have company or you having a dinner party and they're all having wine or whatever it is that they're having, and or you're walking around and you want to socialize with people? Well, I made myself a little mocktail so that I'm holding it in my hand. I'm being social. I have something in my hand, so I'm not going to be tempted to eat something else or drink something that I'm not supposed to drink. And it's fun and it's fancy and it's cool.
Yeah, that's really great. And I can see with summertime coming, well, spring's got to get here first, and it is. Um, that would be really great. But how do you make them?
I'm going to teach you. Give me
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay. Well, wait. So this is kind of fun because I don't know about you, but I do have those times when either somebody comes over And the norm was before to have a NMD, not my drink. So I'm looking forward to learning
you
how to do
missed a
this.
question about how she achieved her goal weight.
Oh, here's a question. How did you determine your goal weight? Did you go body mass index?
Okay, so I wanted to be at least my married weight. So my lowest ever was 130 pounds. So I settled on that. And so then when I got to 130, I thought that I could be like 126. So right now I'm 126 to 131, and I'm perfectly happy where I am. I'm sure that the French formula wants me to be in the teens, but I just think that my face would look real. I don't know. I'm happy where I am.
You look great.
I
And
mean, I could be slimmer, I guess, but I'm good.
and you
I feel
feel
good.
great. But here's the question too, because in maintenance, and I think this is, to me, it was such a surprise to hear this, is that you add food. So for somebody
Yeah,
new,
that's
I'm going to
great.
say that again, you add food. What's
Yeah.
that, Theresa?
I love to add food too, but the maintenance dance really is real. It's really challenging, and I want to encourage you, once you get to maintenance, to just take your time. Don't be in a rush. Like I felt like, oh, I want to add this. Like I was like, and that doesn't work. I feel like for me, I needed to make an ad and then stay still and just wait and see where it lands me for the next month, maybe 2 months. And then if when I'm exercising, if I still feel super hungry, then make another ad. And then once I make that ad, then sit with it again for another month, 2 months. I'm just talking about what works for me. I mean, everybody's different, and a lot of people can make lots and lots of ads and they don't gain weight. I'm not like that. I need to really watch my ads.
Well, and I'm thinking that even any change at all when things are automatic is going to maybe mess with your brain, because when I got started, I did the normal 6 ounces vegetables at lunch, 14 at dinner. And okay, Teresa's going to come back in a second. And I decided to do the 10-10 split. And then that was too many vegetables for me at lunch. So I settled on 8 and 12. And just making that shift to 8 and 12 after a year of the other, it messed with my brain. I really had to keep telling myself, you're okay. This is fine. You can do it. It's the same amount of vegetables. And I think Teresa's just going to a different phone. Let me see if I need to pin her.
Can you see my glass?
Yes.
Okay. So what I did is this morning at lunch, I only allowed 3 ounces of fruit so that I knew that I was going to be having this, and I wanted to have my fruit tonight. So the fruit that's in my cocktail here, I'm going to eat later. Okay. So 3 ounces is going to go in here. And what I have is I made this little fancy on a skewer. I punched out the little fruit, and it's pineapple, strawberry, and mango.
And that's
Goes
the
into my
3 ounces?
Yes, plus what's in this cup.
Oh.
And in this cup, I have strawberries, I have raspberries, I have mangoes, and I have pineapple. So drop it in there. It's really hard, guys. Okay, check this out.
Okay.
And I punched out, let me just show you, I punched out my little mangoes too, just to make it fun.
So
Okay.
where did you get the little punch? Was that just
pampered chef.
Okay.
Okay, and then all it is sparkling lime, mineral water. Fill your glass up. You can drink it like this. I usually like to put a straw, and there's your mocktail.
That's sweet.
That's all it is. And so then you can socialize, be with your friends. You're so cool.
It's
And you
lovely.
don't have to feel deprived. You know, you can socialize and not be having all these food thoughts or drink thoughts.
Well, you have 3 ounces of fruit to eat there too. So as you
Well,
get down,
I guess if you're disciplined enough, and you could not have the fruit, I guess, but I allowed it. I put it on my food plan.
oh, I love it. So I have a question for you. And
Sure.
tonight there's somebody here, I am sure, who is thinking about doing this, doing the bright line eating. They're on the fence. What would you say to them?
I would say, what do you got to lose? And I would say, at least do the 14-day challenge because it really works. I've tried so many diets and nothing ever worked long term. I'm looking for long term. I'm looking to change my life for the better. And I know that the same thing could happen for them.
That's awesome.
Just one day at a time. Don't try to look 1 month. Don't look. And don't worry if you fall off, get right back on. You don't have to be perfect. And that's coming from somebody who was always wanting to be perfect, wants to look perfect, wants to say all the right perfect things. But you don't have to do that in order to be successful. You will be successful if you do these 3 meals a day, no sugar, no flour, no snacks. You will get to your goal weight.
And get a buddy.
And get a buddy or get on a Zoom call, start connecting. Don't isolate. Isolation is the worst. It's the killer.
Right. And so, again, I'm going to say this for those who want to do it. Put your name in, starting out bright. Or if you even see somebody, I would say even maybe send out a direct message to them. What have you got to lose? Right. Like you said, what have you got to lose?
There's right. Or make a post, do an individual post on Facebook asking for, I've seen that many times. I've seen, but I think that a great place is the Zoom, because then you start building that rapport and you start getting to know people within that community. And so if they like Sue put out a message that said, hey, I'm interested in starting a group. So I'd already kind of built a rapport with her. And when she said that, I'm like, oh, sure. My gosh, yes, please pick me. And the same thing will happen to you too.
I'm going to look in the chat just in case there's a question here. Okay. Well, one person has said there's a great book that's called When Food is Comfort by Julie M. Simon. So that's something to look for that Julie mentioned, that there's a book. For those who are interested in boot camp, I know that there are scholarships available, and those you can look for on the Bright Line Eating official website page. So take a look at that. Here's another one is, Theresa, your Facebook page for the soup recipe is at Portu Gal.
Portu Gal. Uh-huh.
Okay. So
and you can always send me a message on Messenger, and I will send you the link to that.
Yes. Here's Tina saying, 1 day at a time, progress, not perfection. Love your story.
Yes.
Many people saying thank you, Theresa, for this time of, sharing your story. And I look to you as someone who has just got a lot going on and who is a person of service. I want to mention again that you will take on clients for coaching. I want to send them to you, so get a hold of you directly. And I'm wondering if there are any more questions for Theresa. I don't want to miss anybody in case I have. So call me out if anybody is seeing anything. Do you have any last words that you would like to say before we close out?
just like I said, I really am super grateful to Charlie and Sydney. To Charlie and Cindy for really making an impact in my life forever. I'm forever grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you reaching out to me, wanting to interview me when I get so much more out of just being and listening to others' stories, and they really help me on this journey. I learn from other people on this journey, and I hope
every
that
single
today I
person
help
has a
some.
story. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, everybody's got their own unique and special story, and your story is important,
It is.
and it
Thanks
should be
for,
heard. I think everybody's story should be heard.
well, I'm getting to them one by one.
Yes, you are, because
If you
you are
have
a rock
somebody,
star.
I'm putting
You're
it out there. If you
awesome.
have somebody you want to recommend, send me a message and I'll
I
see what
love
I can
it.
do. I appreciate you so much that
You're
you were
wonderful.
willing to do this. And thank you for everything you do in the community. And thank you for, I want to say, when this came on my heart, as far as, maybe I could do Zooms, I went back to my friend Lori and I said to her, I'm trying to get an idea of how many people might come. And I said, when you put that out there, how many people got a hold of you? And she said, one, you. And I was so surprised. It's not a program for people who need it. It's for people who want it.
Yes.
But you have to make the decision that I'm going to just give it a try. And Theresa, 2 years ago, I bet you never saw this coming, that
No.
you would be sharing your, being vulnerable, talking about the struggles too. But the struggles are real for all of us. We got here somehow. And I think they give us empathy to understand. And so that's why this community is so valuable. So I just want to thank you again. And I want to thank every single person who's come tonight and who have come week after week. I really appreciate that. You are a big part of all of this, and we're here for each other. So with that, I am going to close as I do each week. Good night, stay bright, and don't let the bed bugs bite. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks,
you.
everyone. Love you all so much.
A lot of thank yous here in the group chat, Theresa. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you,
your
Teresa.
story.
Thank you, Noreen. Thank you, everybody.
So
Thank
much.
Love
you.
you.
Both of you.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Patty.
Teresa and Noreen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. This is awesome. Love it. I was going to ask you, Theresa, what is the one food you never don't have in your house? What is the one thing?
I don't have non-compliant food in my house.
Oh, you don't? So
No.
what compliant food do you never live without? I know you do all the vegetables and stuff.
I try not to have peanut butter in my house because that could be a trigger for me sometimes. Sometimes it's okay, and then sometimes it could turn into a binge food. That and shredded wheat sometimes. So
my niece
those
told me she does tahini instead of peanut butter because it has the same qualities if you want to bake with it. But
okay.
But
I
I've
have
got
some
some,
tahini
but
right
I
now. Okay.
don't think it's the same flavor.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. Yeah, but I tried to have only compliant food in my house, but my daughter did move back in, and so she keeps things that are not compliant in her room.
Oh, good move.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know how people do it where they have folks in their household who eat non-BLE food.
Oh, it's easy until it's not easy. Trust me.
No.
It's really like, I mean, I have to not get cocky, because some days it's like, well, this is a piece of NMF, but then there are those days like, whatever it is, and then it's not easy at all. And that's especially when a buddy is so helpful. So Anyway, just wanted to ask you that quick question. I'm thinking about having 3-question Thursday. The after the 3 questions.
Love it.
Okay, 1 question. Let me think. 3-question Thursday. If you had to do it all over again, what's the one thing you would do differently?
The one thing for sure that I didn't mention was that I like my 10 and 10. I know at the beginning when I started, it was all that salad. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die because I'm not really a salad person. And so when somebody told me that you could do 10 and 10, oh,
Hallelujah.
I'm so grateful. Thank
The
you.
heavens opened. And you know
Yeah.
what? I think you were getting ready to do the other thing, but I switched from 10-10 to 8-12.
Yeah, you did.
And that's worked out great for me. It's just the right amount for lunch, so, and for dinner. So, and
That's
so
really
when
good.
and here's question number 2. What's the first grain what's the first ad that you added?
Oh, my first ad was was one protein, a full protein. And I first started that full protein at breakfast. But then I felt like it was too much, at breakfast. So now what I do is I do half at lunch and half at dinner.
Okay, that works out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
I
then
gotta come up with the 3rd question. Okay, 3rd question. What's more fun? Shopping for clothes now, or just, let's see, or getting rid of your old clothes? What's the more fun part? Is it more
Well,
gratifying to
it's
get?
COVID. It's COVID and I don't have a job.
Oh, bad question.
But no, it's a good question. Getting a bathing suit. I've never wanted to buy a bathing suit. Now I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to Cabo in May, and
Yes.
I'm looking forward to buying a bathing suit.
Wow.
Never in my life have I cared about buying a bathing suit.
Well, Theresa, thanks for playing 3-question Thursday.
Thank you. Thanks for having
I just
me.
thought of that. So we'll have fun again. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody. Good night.
Talk to you soon.
Stay
Bye-bye.
bright.
Bye-bye.